Last time we left off, we made it to the Dracogen something inn. We made it to Deerford Village.
What is it?
Let's go back outside. I just ran in here because there was a little girl out there, right? Oh, it's nighttime. Yeah, we were in there because some dude lost his daughter because he's a horrible parent. But I want to come over here, right? Because I think there's some stuff that we can kind of scope out. We were just kind of ending the night the other night, which is why we ran in there. Look at that, we got some river reed. Look at these guys, they're up to no good. More river reed. You do your best to be here if I was changed. Well, anytime you guys can be here, I obviously appreciate the time and value it. I don't want any PTSD today, please. One thing I always hate, well, hate's a strong word, but one thing I dislike when I go into other Twitch streams is whenever streamers are like berating or like guilt tripping their viewers into being like, all right guys, I've been streaming for this long, where's the follows at? So I'm never gonna be like, hey Creepy Sloth, haven't seen you in a while, how come you ain't been by the stream? I know you got real life. I know this probably gets boring. I'm probably pretty repetitive. I'm probably not that interesting after like an hour. Probably I'm not that interesting after 15 minutes. But if I'm only interesting for 15 minutes and you choose to spend 15 minutes here, then god damn it, I'm glad that you find me interesting for 15 minutes, dude. And I'm gonna try and make it the best 15 minutes I can. So thank you for spending 15 minutes here. Let's go rob this person. Well, it's a grain mill. Hey, Gilded Vale needs grain, so...
And what does the flame reveal?
You know, I wonder... If I had like really high stealth on somebody, would I be able to steal this stuff? And also, I should totally have like the Pink Panther as a...
Yes.
Have you been to Defiance Bay? I heard there's no Hollowborn there. Can't remember the last time we had a healthy birth in the village.
Nice and quiet.
No, I wonder...
You must gather your party before them.
Pink Panther song for Kana? No, the Pink Panther song for stealing stuff. Ba-dum, da-dum, 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 ba-da-da-dum. Okay. So... Alright, that's the White March. That's the X-Pack. That's just a rando villager.
I'll see what I can find.
So here we go. Didum, 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 didum. Nobody saw us there. Oh, that song's definitely copyright. I'm sure it is. We're gonna go back to here, I think. Is it Sid that we need to talk to? Lord Herond. My lord. The man wears deer-style robes, simple but elegant. His fine leather shoes look like they were made for padding around indoors, yet they're caked with mud. He yanks at a lock of hair twined around his silk-gloved finger. His fine features are etched with anxiety.
My child is out there. Do they not understand?
Nah, bruh.
My lord, we're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, these villagers...
Yeah, it's the villagers' fault.
Beasts take them all. I don't care how you do it, but find her.
Your child is missing,
Yes,
I take it?
Lady Alice, my daughter.
Everyone in the village named their kid Villager.
I've asked around.
I know,
but
right?
Nobody in this mud hole has any concerns beyond their swine. They turn my men away like beggars and seem downright pleased to be of no use. But you're not one of my soldiers. And you look like you're used to getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind my saying so.
My lord, should make November Halloween month. Why? If you find her, he nibbles the thumb of one silk glove. Tell her I won't be upset with her. She can come back. All will be well. I just want to make sure my... What did you say her name was? Alice? My child is safe. Nothing in the world is more important to me. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Elise.
Of
That's what
course.
it was. Describe Lady Elise. She's a striking young woman. She's your daughter, man. Bears more resemblance to her mother than to me. She has auburn hair and delicate, well-bred features. It's a Pornhub game all of a sudden. We must be 28 or 29 now. Tell me about her disappearance. We stopped in Deerfooter for a few days. On our fourth evening here, I was making plans to continue our journey. Lady Elise was feeling unwell and went to bed. When I retired a couple hours later, I found that she had vanished. None of my men had seen her go, and no one at the inn knew where she was. Since then, my people have been combing the village, but we've yet to find a clue, and the locals have been no help. Why did you and Elise come to Deerford? It was merely a stop along the way to Hyena's Rest. However, she took ill shortly before our arrival, so it seemed prudent to allow her a few days to recover. It's probably the gloves. What's in Hyena's Rest? He frowns, as if about to protest, but he gives in with a sigh. Lady Elise has reached an age where it is prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy business, I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do I want her womb to fester in the presence of so many Hollowborn. This dude cares way too much about her vagina. It seems there would be more potential suitors and new... That's a weird conversation to have. There are better roads along the coast. Would have been easier to follow. Let's go with that one. If I thought that, I wouldn't be slogging through the forest, would I? The main roads are clogged with people fleeing one way or another to try and escape Waydwin's legacy. It would be difficult for a caravan like mine to pass without incident. At the time, it seemed prudent to move quietly along the back roads. Where's the rest of your family? Lady Heron is ill-suited for travel, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, Elise has few other close relatives. My sister and her husband, Elise's uncle, of course, have been visiting during these past few months. And as for siblings, Elise has none. My wife has only given birth to Hollowborn, since Elise it is. See, but going back to your daughter. Let's go back to previous questions. I heard you arguing with the income.
Small-minded man, just like the rest of them around here. I've been paying him an honest fee for board and bed, and yet he can't be bothered to stir himself to concern for my Elise.
So Hollowborn are children that are born in this universe, this world, and they're born without souls. Tell me about yourself.
I'm Lord Nestor Harrand of Defiance Bay. My family has been prominent there since Imperial times. Our primary estate is on the outskirts of Brackenbury, but we have holdings in New Haomar as well. Those went to my sister and her husband.
Goodbye. Oh, we got some levels. Nice. Do I want to get mechanics now? What's the purpose of souls? What do they do? I'm assuming it's just like a regular soul. Like the definition of a soul, you know, like in real life, so to speak. So you can go to heaven or hell or whatever. So at 12, I believe we get like double this. And at 13, we would get damage reduction times 3. I think we want greater wild shock. 15% damage. Yeah. That sounds good to me. And then we have Kiana. But what is a soul in real life? There are multiple views of what a soul is, and many people asking what is like that the main question with Hinduism because nobody really knows. It's true. I guess it depends on what your outlook is, right? So we can't get any points in survival here. So we just carry him over to the next. Or do we just go mechanics? I need to get mechanics up on somebody. Let's do that. Ooh. See, conjures 3 worms. Summons Will-O-Wisp. An AoE Terrify. A whole bunch of defenses. That one's pretty good. That's probably where we're gonna go. And Interrupt and Charm. Endurance and Frighten. Hmm. 25 defense when disengaging, 50 defense against hobbled attacks, 50 defense against stuck, petrified, and paralyzed attacks. I don't think we need the healing, to be honest, because we have Durance, which is just like straight on full support. Although the immunities are nice, I think we can probably cover that elsewhere. AoE Charm would be pretty cool, man. AoE Terrified, I feel like that's not... I'm kind of actually not feeling summons anymore. So I feel like it's between Shatter Their Shackles or the Charm. You know what? I'm going to try out the Charm, the AoE Charm. And for talent... I don't know, man. What do we go here? Marksman? No, maybe. And Venom Strike? I think I was looking at this last time he leveled up. You want a Bard Assassin to be a thing? That would be pretty cool. I don't like the reduction in attack speed just yet. That's probably not a good idea. Bear's fortitude, snake's reflexes. Deflection, eh. Kind of don't like any of these. 2 quick item slots. I feel like I'm gonna end up getting this on a. I want to get this on a endurance, and then use mage spells endurance. Get 2 weapon style. He's not dual wielding though. Or they can't dual wield pistols for some reason, I guess. I think I'm gonna go in Venom Strike. It's a lot of damage. What is 2 weapon style? 2 weapon style is it's attack speed when you're dual wielding. Unfortunately, we're not dual wielding, so in this case, I guess we would go. Well, one-handed style is just for melee weapons, so we wouldn't go that either. And this one's melee only, so I feel like we either would go. None of these apply to us. We already got a, I think, Gunner, right? So Savage Attack, no. And Venom Strike, yes. Marksman. Marksman, I feel like Marksman is a candidate, but what if he were in melee range, which is totally possible? Then it's completely useless. Dangerous Implements. Increases damage done by implements. And so that's no. Rods, yeah, no. All of these are no. These are no. Specific stuff. Interrupting blows, maybe. Vulnerable attack, no. So penetrating shot, maybe. Bloody slaughter. Maybe. I think I just go with Venom Strike. Yeah, and Venom does work with guns. It doesn't say otherwise, at least. Yeah, let's just go with Venom Strike. We get 1 talent, right? Yeah. Let's do that. Does that mean everybody else is about to level up? Damn, yep. Really close. Cool.
Yes.
Alrighty.
As you wish.
The PTSD. The PTSDs. Okay, search Deerfoot about the information about Elise. Lord Heron has not seen Elise in days now. It seems the villagers of Deerford have not been much help. Still, I may be able to learn something useful by asking around. Is that Sid?
Gods keep you.
Aha! A redhead stands by the fire. Kinda leveled up first because he's the best and the game knows this. Maybe. First time at the Dracogan. Normally, I'd have a song ready, but I haven't quite worked out this tune yet. I'm writing some chants about the founding of this inn. Say you interested in the story? I haven't finished the chants, but I could tell you about it all the same. Sure, let's have it. Oh, excellent. These rustic fables are always great fun. Let me get out something to write with. It was built in the time of Hadrian's Rebellion, and a dear lady, Thanu, once had a keep here. One of the towers still stands, but the rest is said to be buried under the village. Anyway, she stuck to the side of the empire, and a contingent of Duke Hadrian's Knights of the Crucible helped the farmers and the colonists in the area turn her keep to rubble. This inn was the first building that sprang up from the ruin. Built with some of the same bricks the colonists had pulled from the Lady Thanu's castle. They say, supposedly, the quarterstaff of her chief wizard even got lost in the construction, mortared into a wall or nailed under a floorboard. Anyway, the inn was supposed to be a haven and a meeting place while the locals built their new town. Go on. Connor would have a tune ready? Probably. We need to redo his chants, so that way we have that new chant, so we can see if we can charm stuff. Druids are honorary a lot, and the more these new neighbors met, the more they argued. They realized they didn't agree on much besides ousting the old lord. The biggest divide was over the Glenfathens and the nearby ruins. Hadrian Knights and their supporters wanted to keep the pace, but a group of misfits with more anarchic learnings that had formed in town wanted to go after the tribes the same way they'd gone after their lord. Soon the villagers were fighting with each other as much as with the adherents. In the end, memories of the Broken Stone War and the War of the Black Trees were fresh enough that the Duke's soldiers won the day. Most of the other villagers came around eventually, but some of the core troublemakers left to join the front lines of the War of the Defiance, and others, I've heard, found their way into the gilded guided compass, the most forward-looking of the Glenfathen tribes. I don't know if I believe that part myself, but it makes a good story. She points to the east wall. There's a portrait of one of the chief rabble-rousers and his rival in the peacekeeping faction. Someone has the idea of a joke. I don't think they were particularly amused. That was the first major conflict between the original Adirian settlers and the Glenfathens. Happened 3 years ago, or 3 years into colonization, when some farmers knocked over an Adra. Minor that was a part of the Ingwithan ruin. The war didn't last long, but it spread quickly and claimed thousands. In the early weeks, most of the colonists didn't even realize there was a war going on until Glenfathen raiders hit the villages. There had been a small spontaneous skirmishes between the colonists and the locals before then, but this was organized and was the start of decades of violence between the colonists and the Glenfathens. Tell me about the War of the Black Trees. Started back in the colonial days, almost 30 years after the Broken Stone War. Even though isolated conflicts still broke out between the settlers and the Glenfathens, both sides had officially agreed to peace. Edring Hadrit and Admeth's father was Griff at the time. As part of the peace negotiations, he'd signed treaties prohibiting Adirian colonists from looting Ingwithan ruins. However, he'd been able to outlaw the use of captured Glenfathens as slaves. That's Griff. Griff was a governor of a colony. Hold on. I got a drink ban. I don't want to lose my voice. Governor of a colony and subservient to the Adirian emperor. Early leaders of the Adirian colony in the Deerwood, including Edring and Admeth Hadrit, were Greece. At the start of the War of Defiance, Admeth Hadrit declared himself Duke of an independent Deerwood rather than Grief. Is it Gref, maybe? Of the emperor's colony. It was the same term used for leaders of the newly independent Valian republics anyway. We haven't had a Griff since. Indeed, the taking of Glenfathen slaves had continued to be a source of conflict. It came to the head when imperial agents aided by certain earls in the Deerwood began looting the ruins again. You see, the empire had never actually agreed to the Hadrit's treaties on the matter, and the recent succession of Valian republics, blah, blah, blah. The looting and sparked brutal slaves uprising and guerrilla campaign amongst the Glenfathens. Adrian Hadrit was too old to lead forces into battle. All right, you're back. What happened? Just a lot of lore. And so he sent his son Admeth. Admeth had made costly, effective decisions that ended the war faster than anyone could have imagined. He burned the forest near the Iskinen River and keep Glenfathen war bands from retreating. Thousands of Glenfathens died, and Admeth repeated his scorched earth tactics. In the following months, he wore down the remainder of their forces to this day. Over 150 years later, there were still sections of the Deerwood that had trees with nothing but bare, charred chunks. Cool.
How do you do?
Perhaps another time. Nothing about that girl. Maybe this guy knows something? Nope. Definitely not. Let's go upstairs. We're trying to find some information about Elise.